Next time you walk into a Starbucks, remember this story. Howard Schultz, a native of Brooklyn, is responsible for popularizing the latte in America and turning coffee into a luxury commodity through his coffee empire. Schultz, who has always prioritized social justice in his business practices, faced both support and boycotts in the later years of his leadership due to his strong commitment to these values. But how did his story begin? Coffee consumption was declining. Back in 1971, Jerry Baldwin, Gordon Boker, and Zev Siegel opened the first Starbucks in Pike Place Market, and they couldn't have picked a better time to do it. You see, in the 1970s, American coffee was in a bit of a slump. The big brands were all fighting a price war, which meant they were using cheaper beans to cut costs. As a result, the quality of the coffee we were drinking wasn't exactly top-notch. And to make matters worse, Americans had stopped drinking as much coffee as we used to. Our daily intake had peaked at 3.1 cups per day in 1961, but by the 1970s, it was on the decline. At the time, there weren't many stores like Starbucks around. Only a few cities in America had them. But Starbucks was determined to change that. They wanted to meet the demand of Seattle's coffee enthusiasts for high-quality products that were previously only available through European catalogs. And they also wanted to convince people who had never had gourmet coffee before to give it a try and switch to finer European blends. To make all of this happen, Starbucks put a lot of effort into developing strong relationships with coffee growers all over the world. They knew that in order to provide the best coffee experience possible, they needed to use the best ingredients. And it looks like all of that hard work paid off. Today, Starbucks is a household name, and people all over the world are willing to pay a little extra for a cup of their delicious, high-quality coffee. But Starbucks didn't just go out and buy any old beans. They were very particular about where they got them from. They worked with a carefully chosen network of suppliers all over the world, including countries like Sumatra, Kenya, Ethiopia, and Costa Rica, to ensure that they were getting the very best beans. And they didn't stop there. They also sought out vendors who sold products that would protect or enhance the flavor of the Arabica beans. To brew their coffee, Starbucks also turned to traditional European brewing techniques, valuing simplicity over advanced technology. They worked with suppliers who offered products that embodied the essence of the coffee brewing tradition, and the result is a cup of coffee that's rich, flavorful, and oh so satisfying. Then came Schultz. Howard Schultz's journey to success was far from easy. When he was just 7 years old, he returned home to find his father lying on the couch with a cast that covered him from his hip to his ankle. Schultz's father was an Army veteran and truck driver who had been injured at work, and he had no workers' compensation, no severance pay, and no health insurance. Schultz's mother urged him to focus on his education so that he could open more doors for himself in the future. With that in mind, Schultz received an athletic scholarship to attend Northern Michigan University. But once he got there, he decided that he didn't want to play sports after all. Instead, Schultz worked a series of odd jobs to pay for his education. He worked as a bartender and even sold blood to make ends meet. He also worked at a ski lodge in Michigan and at companies like Xerox and Hammerplast. Eventually, Schultz came across Starbucks and knew that it was the perfect place for him. He joined the company in the early 1980s and believed that it could accomplish the seemingly impossible goal of remaining premium while becoming widespread. He even left the company briefly in the mid-1980s because he couldn't convince the founders that Starbucks could be more than just a small local coffee roaster like Peet's. The transformation. When Howard Schultz took over Starbucks in the 1980s, he knew that the company needed to do something different to stand out. And so, inspired by the bustling cafe culture he saw in Italy, Schultz decided to start serving freshly brewed coffee by the cup in every Starbucks store. He believed that Americans would embrace the idea of stopping in at a coffee house to socialize and enjoy a fresh cappuccino or espresso. This transformation from a coffee retailer to a cafe business came with several significant benefits for Starbucks. For one, it allowed for better quality control, since the coffee was being brewed by skilled Starbucks staff. It also attracted the attention of Seattle's busy business community, who appreciated the convenience of being able to enjoy high-quality coffee on the go. And finally, it helped Starbucks stand out from its competitors, who were also expanding rapidly in Seattle and other major American cities. As Starbucks continued to grow and expand, Schultz worked on reimagining the company's brand identity to capture the elegance of European coffeehouse culture while still being familiar and appealing to a wide range of Americans. With a focus on the coffeehouse model, Starbucks was able to set itself apart and become the global coffee powerhouse it is today. When Howard Schultz became the CEO of Starbucks, he knew that he needed a strong team of experienced professionals to help turn his vision for the company into a reality. So he put together a dynamic management team made up of executives from some of the most successful and creative companies in the country, including Nike, Deloitte & Touche, and Macy's. Each of these executives brought their own unique skills and perspectives to the table, helping Schultz steer Starbucks through a period of rapid growth and brand transformation. But it wasn't just the people that made Starbucks successful. The company also made some smart investments in its facilities and processes. In 1989, Starbucks invested in a high-speed coffee roaster and packaging equipment that would last for at least 10 years. And as the company continued to expand, it implemented a sophisticated computer information system to track sales across all of its stores. These investments helped Starbucks maintain its high-quality products on a national and global scale, even as it opened hundreds of new stores in the first decade of its expansion. All of this required a significant amount of venture capital. Starbucks raised $18.5 million between 1990 and 1991 to fund these costly internal developments. Worldwide expansion. Starbucks' expansion into new markets across North America and around the world was carefully planned and executed. The company started by establishing a strong presence in the Pacific Northwest and then expanded into key markets like Chicago, Los Angeles, San Francisco, New York, and Washington, D.C. Each of these new markets served a specific strategic purpose in Starbucks' expansion plan. In 1996, Starbucks International successfully opened its first store in Tokyo's Ginza downtown area, showing that the coffeehouse concept had cross-cultural appeal. And by 1998, there were 25 Starbucks stores open in Japan. One thing that set Starbucks apart from many other successful American food companies was its decision to own and operate all of its stores, rather than using a franchise model. While franchising can offer some benefits, like a source of capital, a low-cost way to enter new markets, and a commitment from franchises to the financial success of the business, it can also pose risks to brand development. Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz recognized this and believed that in order to maintain a strong image of quality, he and his executive team needed complete control over the brand. By keeping the brand under the control of the Seattle headquarters, Schultz was able to ensure that Starbucks' dedication to excellence was never compromised in the pursuit of profits. To support its expansion, Starbucks also invested in extensive word-of-mouth advertising to raise brand recognition before its stores even opened in a new market. And when a new Starbucks location did open, it was often treated as a community event with highly skilled baristas and managers reinforcing the positive brand image by providing the best service possible. To further support its expansion, Starbucks used a hub market strategy, in which it entered a new market in clusters. A large city would serve as the hub for each new region, housing teams of experts trained to support new stores. The goal was to open 20 or more stores in the first 2 years in the large hub market, and then to spread from there to smaller spoke markets with demographics similar to a typical Starbucks customer mix. Through this careful and strategic approach, Starbucks was able to build a global presence and become the beloved coffee giant it is today. Under Howard Schultz's leadership, Starbucks experienced rapid growth, going from 1,886 stores in 1998 to 16,680 stores in 2008. Schultz transformed Starbucks into a new kind of store, leading the company to become a global coffee empire.